Bluff City Cemetery does is their Bluff City Cemetery Walk. They've had it every year, and what it does is it honors some of the former local residents and how they have made such an impact, a strong impact within the city and community of Elgin. I do have John with us today. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing this morning?
I am glad to be back, Matt.
Yes, I know. I remember doing the interview through was last year for this. So it was last year. Oh, you can't hear in the headphones?
No.
Okay, if you want to switch headphones, those ones will work. Yeah, there we go. I think those ones should be pretty good for you. Does that sound better?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, awesome. So your name is John. Tell us a little bit about yourself for those who are just tuning in who might not be familiar.
Yeah, like a lot of people, I moved to Elgin. I wasn't born and raised here. Many days I wish that is part of my story, because my wife and family and I have just loved our 30-plus years, 35 years now in Elgin. I taught at Elgin High School. And just retired 3 years ago next week.
Oh, nice.
From teaching there, but go back often to stay connected with that great community. And in retirement, especially, and even a little bit before, I've become very involved with the Elgin History Museum and the Elgin Area Historical Society. And it's that group that does the research and selects the characters and pulls off this usually sold-out event every year in September.
Awesome.
The Bluff City Cemetery Walk. This is our 38th.
38th, wow.
Yeah. So
oh, my goodness, that's fantastic.
Been doing it for a while. Jerry Turnquist, a lot of your listeners will recognize his name. He did the first, he started this, and we've just never let up.
That's awesome. That is so great. So, folks, I'm going to tell you, too, if you want to check out more information, they have the, of course, beautiful poster that we also saw last year here as well, too. Elgin History Museum presenting the Bluff City Cemetery Walk. Now it's going to be the 38th year. So that's
actually the poster of last year.
Yes.
Our poster for this year is almost complete. And and so that'll post soon. You'll see it around the shops and restaurants that a lot of people frequent, and I think people will recognize something new and different about it.
There you go. Yeah, so we'll definitely have you come back on, and we'll give you a little bit more of a taste of what to expect there, too. So should be very, very good. Now, tell us a little bit about the planning process with this. How do you choose which former Elgin residents to honor? And, is it, do people submit it? Is it the descendants, or do you kind of look through the Bluff City Cemetery and you do research and you find, hey, this person worked for the dairy industry in Elgin or for the Elgin Watch Factory, or they made this great milestone? How do you go about choosing them?
Yeah, different cemetery walk coordinators have taken different approaches, but all of us, and there have, I think, been 5 different teams of coordinators over the 38 years. But all of us usually begin right in the cemetery. And we walk, and we imagine a 3/4 mile or less loop, because it does need to be a walkable loop rather than just far scattered graves that we visit. And so it usually starts there, and then we look for names that might work for us, and then the research begins. But last year, we just, it was sort of an obvious opportunity to connect to Gail Borden Public Library's 150th.
Yeah.
And my wife, Anna, works there. And so together, we agreed, along with all of our volunteers at the museum for the cemetery walk, let's somehow bring together Gail Borden and the cemetery walk. And so we featured that last year. So this year is like, well, that was really fun to have a theme. In the past, it's just been interesting individuals and not a lot of connection between those individuals. And so we thought, well, what can we come up with a theme for next year? And I was talking with Liz Marston, and she was mentioning that various towns in Illinois around Route 20 are preparing for the centennial
Oh,
of,
wow.
of US 20, which of course cuts right through Elgin. And so we thought, oh, roads and the people who built them and maintain them and anything transportation related.
Yeah.
So that's our theme this year, all things roads, transportation. And we quickly found characters that really align nicely with that theme.
Oh, awesome. Very cool. Now, when it comes to the characters, do you usually, is it usually required to like have a picture of them so people, the person playing them can kind of, mimic them and how they dressed and how they looked?
Yeah, the staff and volunteers at the museum do a great job of digging deep into the archives and try to find a good photograph of each character. And we're usually successful in that. And this year, we have all 7 that we have known verified photos of them that we can share in our little booklet that guests receive when they attend the walk.
That's awesome. I think that would be such a fun process because I love family history. I think it would be such a fun process to, you've got the name, you've got the dates of where they were born, where they lived, and then trying to find in the archives the picture of them. And then you find it. It's like, oh, that's them. Okay,
Yes.
now we're going to look and see. Okay, this person wore, was it 1890s dress with the buttons on it? We're going to find a dress that looks like that. Now, do you have people that actually make the clothing as well, too? Or do you rent them? Or how does that work?
Yeah, it's kind of a combination. There are some people in our reach that collect costumes and period clothing, and they work to help dress our characters. We've gone with a couple of costume companies that work with theaters when we've needed a specific sort of unique costume in the past. And so a variety of, and to be honest, we even got one costume together by using Temu.
Oh, really?
Yes. I'll go ahead and admit that. It's definitely not a vintage costume, but it came off as though it was. So
Oh, wow.
It worked out for us.
Hey, there you go. Oh, that's so cool. Now, yes, so the annual Bluff City Cemetery Walk has been a tradition since 1987, organized by volunteers and staff of the Elgin History Museum. They attract hundreds of people to enjoy this outdoor, theatrical performance and the beauty of the Bluff City Cemetery grounds. Now, the Bluff City Cemetery grounds, they do have kind of some steeper hills there, too.
Yeah, they do. And, a lot of we are beginning to attract a younger group of interested guests.
Oh, that's good.
And that's always encouraging to us that the interest in local history is being passed on to next generations. But a lot of our guests, of course, are getting up in years, and they've been attending the cemetery walk when it was not a thought to them to walk it. And now these steep hills are a little bit discouraging. And so we do offer a tram.
Oh, nice.
And Knapheide up in McHenry has a tram that can be pulled by a truck that they loan out to organizations like ours for free.
Awesome.
And so we can put guests on the tram where they'll be comfortable and safe and be able to, it's an open tram so that they're right there and can enjoy the cemetery walk experience without worrying about footing or hills.
Very cool. Now, to kind of dive in a little bit into the characters here, too, do you reach out or do you have people that reach out to any of the descendants, and that's how you can get a lot of those stories as well?
Yeah, last year, the Abbott family really contributed a lot to our scriptwriter and attended the event, which was wonderful. And last year, Bruce Cook contributed material and stories about David C. Cook. This year, I've already sat down with Rick Burnage. We're doing Charles Harrison Burnage. It's a really interesting family, 3 generations, actually 4 now, of Burnage family members that have been the highway supervisors, Elgin Township highway supervisors. And
I know
so,
they're a well-known family in history in Elgin.
yes, and so it's that I really enjoyed spending time and hearing stories and getting materials from Rick Burnage a couple of months ago. And he'll be seeing the finished script soon, and we'll, offer him a chance to give us some feedback on that script of if we're doing a good job telling the family story.
Very cool. Now I have to ask, have you ever thought of playing a character?
I haven't yet, because I see some talent around me to do that a little better. But when Anna and I no longer are the coordinators, maybe I'll take a role, because I do think it's interesting and fun, and people are really engaged by these stories.
Very cool. Now, you did also mention sometimes people will have like artifacts as well from that. I think that's fantastic. That really amplifies the story.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to land many artifacts this year. We're going to be featuring along the route, though, some facsimiles of early US 20 signage.
Okay.
So instead of having an arrow to turn on the route that will help our guides and guests stay on the path, there'll be a facsimile of a highway sign, with the arrow that directs people to the turn that they'll need to make. So that will be fun. And artifacts start bubbling up a little bit later in the planning process, where we'll search our own archives. Do we have anything that will amplify this story and help us tell it better? Or to make a facsimile of something. I know Rudy Galfi made a facsimile of an early bus stop bench and sign from early Elgin
Very good.
public transportation days. And
That's
so
fantastic.
we'll come up with some things that help sort of set the stage, hopefully.
Awesome. There was something else I wanted to talk about here too. Oh, so when it comes to the characters, have there ever been, I guess, like duplicates of characters over the years, or is it always new people?
We try to aim at fresh information, but there's usually, in most years' walks, a duplication of one or maybe two, but with maybe a different angle on telling the story.
Okay.
So for this year, one of our characters is Alice Bird Potter. And if you attended the walk back in 1991, you would remember that, but that's a long time ago. And so we're hopeful that her story, which is, I think, they're all compelling, but her story especially is compelling, because when you put together women mechanic drivers, cross-country automobile drivers, early 1900s, that's a unique
It's very
person
unique. Yeah.
right
It's
there.
not very common.
Yeah, and so her story is amazing. Linda Rock, who has acted and written for us before, has prepared the script for her, and she's just a fascinating character, and I think guests will enjoy that presentation especially.
Now, what's generally the time period of these characters? Is there a certain time frame that is like within the limits? So is it, like it's 1800s, 1900s?
Yeah, I think most of our characters kind of made their contributions in the late 19th century and early 20th. We have one character this year that goes a little deeper into the 1970s and even early 80s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we couldn't resist doing some of the Elgin car dealerships, most of which have family names attached to them, right?
Yep.
And so it's interesting. That's a whole interesting study by itself. The interesting relationships between families that owned dealerships. For example, one of our characters Clarence Helm, is not well known for automobile or roads. He's well known as one of Elgin's early aviators.
Okay.
And he was in charge of the Elgin Airport up by the tollway and 31. People might be confused, like, why is there a road called Airport Road up there by the Holiday Inn? And they're like, oh, there was an airport here long ago.
I didn't know that. There was an airport there.
Yeah, and he flew the weather plane and the mail plane, and he managed the airport for a stretch. And he's a fascinating guy. But as a side hustle, he owned a small Chevy dealership.
Oh, wow.
And it's that dealership did not just kind of disappear. He sold it to Carpenter and Foreman. Then they sold it to Sherman, Lord, and Graff. Then Brotzman. Then Helms. Then, wait for the name that many of you will recognize, Gerald Bigger.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Right? So Bigger's Mazda, Bigger's Chevy. Mm-hmm. So there's a kind of an ancestry of some of these characters that connect us to maybe the next or last car that you've purchased. And you're like, I had no idea.
Oh, that's so cool. I love, I say this so much, and everyone's like, oh, okay, yes, we know. I'm just so into the family history like that. I think it's just so fascinating. I think you knew. I've got some ancestors that lived in Elgin in the 1800s as well. I had, Alfred B. Church.
Yes. He was with us last year at the walk. He was the greeter.
Really?
He was the greeter at the gate.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I think I missed out on that. Yeah, I missed out last year. I wasn't able to go, but my great aunt worked for him in his home. She was one of the housekeepers.
Yes. So. Interesting. Well, hey, speaking of missing out, maybe the people who are listening this morning want to mark their calendars. So Saturday, September 27th, and Sunday, the September 28th. And there will be 2 sessions that you can sign up for, purchase your tickets for, on each of those days. And tickets usually go on sale right around July 4th.
Awesome. And now what are the times? So I'm adding it to my calendar too. So do you know the times for that or not yet?
They will duplicate the times that we had last year. So on Saturday, the first session begins at 1:00, and then the second session begins at 5. I'm going to have to check those times. Maybe you can pull up last year's poster.
Okay.
And we can take a look at that just to kind of confirm.
Yeah, let's see here. Oh, I think it's I'm gonna have to.
Maybe that Saturday's start time is a little different. There is it.
Oh, it doesn't show on the poster.
Doesn't show on that.
I'd have to look at the previous one. This is from last year, so it was 2024. It was it was September 21st. It's 3 to 7.
Yes.
There.
So the Saturday one, the first one goes at 3. And then the last one goes at 5:30.
Okay, 3
and then 5. Right, and then the Sunday session, the first one goes at 11 a.m. and then the second one is at 1:30.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for pulling that up.
Of course, absolutely. We're going to keep you around for a little longer because we want to dive in just a little sneak peek on some of the characters here. Fantastic. Thanks again, John, for joining us here at WRMN.
I love talking about this.
Absolutely. We are going to take a quick time out. We'll be back with more Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410, so stay tuned for more. Again, mark your calendars coming up in September. I know it's a little bit of a ways away, but never too early, of course, to plan that out. I definitely would love to be out. I'm gonna go this year. I'm gonna make sure that I go this year. I just put it on the calendar.
We'll be happy to host you.
Awesome. So stay tuned. We'll be back with more in just a little bit.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Curdan. Brought to you by Wendy's. The Forest Preserve District of DuPage County is set to host its annual native plant sale at the Mays Lake Peabody Estate in Oak Brook on Friday and Saturday. Shoppers can choose from more than 170 species of native flowers, grasses, shrubs, and trees, including 14 newly added varieties. Elan Dance Company is set to dazzle audiences with its 2025 showcase on Friday, May 30th at North Central College's Pfeiffer Hall in Naperville. The event will spotlight hip-hop, jazz, and ballet, all performed by young dancers from the Naperville Park District program. Admission is free. Bruce Kulik of Bolingbrook has been named the Outstanding Senior Volunteer in Region 2 by the Serve Illinois Commission, making him the first Forest Preserve District of DuPage County volunteer to receive the Governor's Volunteer Service Award since 2020. With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Are you dreaming of a getaway? Want to leave the stress of daily life behind? Whether it's a relaxing cruise or an adventurous land escape, planning the perfect vacation doesn't have to be a hassle. At Cruises International, they specialize in vacation destinations, land and sea, making your dreams come true. Located at 1721 Moon Lake Boulevard in Hoffman Estates, Cruises International isn't just about booking travel. They're your personal concierge, trusted travel advisor, and advocate. Your preferences are unique, and they'll take the time to understand exactly what you're looking for. From personalized service to their global network of specialists, they ensure that your vacation is tailor-made just for you. It's time to plan the vacation of a lifetime. Call 800-255-7447. That's 800-255-7447 today and speak to a cruise and vacation expert. Cruises International. It's time to set sail to your dream destination.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast. A fire weather watch is in effect from Friday morning through Friday evening. Today, mostly sunny with scattered showers and thunderstorms after 5 p.m. Some storms could be severe with a high near 90. Tonight, partly cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms before 9 p.m., low around 60. Currently, it is 78 with clear skies. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
All right. Welcome back, folks, to Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410, broadcasting live here from Studio 14, serving you, the Fox River Valley area. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We've got John here with us. Thank you again for joining us here on WRMN. So let's talk a little bit here. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Yep.
Awesome. Oh, we got a comment here. Okay, so my dad commented, if you call, I played, this was in the Dundee Historical Society's early business people tour. He played his grandpa, my great-grandpa Anthony, because he was, I don't know if you know D'Angelo Water. I know it's Elgin and Dundee kind of by each other, but that was my great-grandpa's business.
So he's acted before in a cemetery walk?
My dad is too, yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yep,
maybe we'll have to reach out to him and see if he wants to join us some year in playing a character in Elgin.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know. I don't know if he could. I mean, I bet he could probably. Yeah. That's pretty cool. So let's talk a little bit about some of these characters here. Give people a little sneak peek on what to expect.
Yeah. So I've mentioned Clarence Helm already and Alice Bird Potter. But we have quite a few additional interesting characters as well. Frank Wood, some people will remember him as associated with the Elgin Road Race. And his ability as a mechanic, as the preeminent risk taker, even since he was a child. He would do crazy things. He was known at county fairs for changing his name and then being hoisted up into a hot air balloon, and he would jump out with a parachute attached and float down. The reason he changed his name is so that his mother wouldn't find out.
Okay.
So he is a character and a half. Frank Wood, and people who love cars and the history of the Elgin Road Race will be especially pleased to hear his story. We mentioned also Charles Harrison Burnage, a major contributor to highly rated roads and bridges in Elgin Township. The Elgin was known for its good roads.
Awesome.
And so we have others too, but maybe I'll hold those for our next interview.
Okay.
We've got some kind of just fun facts about that are theme related. Did you know that in 1837, James Gifford successfully appealed directly to Congress to run the Chicago-Galena stage line through Elgin?
Oh, wow.
Not St. Charles.
Huh. Oh,
And
that's
so
interesting.
if you ever wonder, and most of us don't, a road is just a road. It's a pragmatic, solution to get from here to there. But why do we have this thing called US 20 that cuts through Elgin? Well, US 20 pretty much follows the old Chicago-Galena stagecoach line.
Interesting.
Before being US 20, it was Illinois Route 5. And in 100 years ago, this November, the United States Congress patched together a route that would go from Boston to Yellowstone National Park.
Okay.
And named it US 20. And so all of the various states began sort of changing. For us, Illinois 5 became US 20.
Oh, wow.
And so there's that interesting history. Most of us wouldn't do this on July 4th. July 4th, 1836, Elgin residents joined together and dragged a heavy log with a team of horses from Elgin to Meacham's Grove to mark a western route. So it's these early settlers that are intent on putting Elgin on the transportation map and connecting it to markets and to people.
Wow.
And you need leaders like that if you're going to grow a town into a city.
Absolutely.
And thankfully, Elgin had leaders that had vision like that. George Richardson is the first person in Elgin that we know of to own what you and I would call a car. Although it doesn't really look much like a car. It's one of those buggies with the steering stick in it. And maybe he bought it because just 2 years prior to that, Elgin first began paving its city streets. And so that sure makes it easier for cars and horses and wagons to make their way. So we've learned all kinds of interesting, fun facts just about transportation in Elgin, that these are not just the roads that we built, they're the roads that built us and connected us and still do today.
That roads definitely have helped people get to places faster, more smoothly, so that they could, of course, grow their businesses as well.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And something I learned too recently is that a lot of the basements here were once the city, and then the city was raised once one level, I do believe.
I know parts of Chicago are that way. I'm not aware of what sections of Elgin might have a similar setup where there's elevated streets and things like that. Could be for some of the sections of utilities or something like that. But I'd have to ask a guy like David Siegenthaler or Jerry Turnquist over at the museum. They'd know right away.
Very cool. Now, there are some other characters, or is that the end for the sneak peek?
Well, yeah. David McBride is he's born in Ireland and brought over to Elgin with his parents when he was in his early teen years. So we're imagining that he probably sounded a bit Irish because you're affected by the culture that you're raised in, and you carry some of the sounds and pronunciations and dialect of your birth community if you are raised there into your early teen years. He's another very interesting character. Fun fact about him that you'll probably hear during the walk that's transportation related. He and his father built a little steamboat. And that steamboat went from Elgin to Dundee and back.
Okay.
Now, it was no longer necessary to have that once we got a little train line that connected us. But these David McBride would later become a successful Buick dealership, and there's a lot more about him that's very interesting. But these people that put down transportation routes for us, you know, you got Helm that's flying, you've got McBride that is got a steamboat on the Fox River. And you've got George Richardson with a car. And so this is an interesting topic and theme that we just kind of stumbled into when we learned about the celebration of US 20's centennial. And it got us thinking about our roads and the people who, built their lives around connecting people through transportation.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you again so much for joining us here today. And folks, check out more information. We'll definitely have you back on once the poster gets up, set, and ready to go. I'll keep my eyes peeled to see it on the website, and so I'll make sure to share it as well, too.
Well, you'll get a copy from me probably even before we get it up on the website.
I love it. Thank you so much again for joining us today.
Thank you for your interest and for your all you do here in Elgin.
Of course. And to you as well.